Well, hello, hello. Welcome to an episode of Slam Nation Wrestling. I am Lord Cash. I'm being joined mobily by All That Pat. How you doing? Are you keeping under 88?
We're about 71 right now.
There you go. That's as long as we don't want to see some crazy stuff happening.
Well, you'd have to blame the Ritz.
There we go. So, well, we are here. We are going to be giving you a very brief, very quick. We're going to do a full results as well as review of Summer Slam that just happened. This is going to be odd to say, happened on Saturday. This, for me, is one of the only time that I can recall in the past 20 or so years that I've been regularly religiously watching pay-per-views and WWE content that that the pay-per-views happen like a major pay-per-view. I'm not counting like the NXT stuff because those are always typically on a Saturday night. But this is the first time that I have noticed it. Has there been other situations like major pay-per-views that have been on a Saturday night?
Yeah, as far as the major pay-per-views, because I don't count Taboo Tuesday either. SummerSlam 1992. Again, that's like 30-something years ago, emanated from England, and that was on a Monday. So was SummerSlam 93. That was also on a Monday. And that one was from Michigan, Detroit, Michigan. But typically, no. The SummerSlams are on a Sunday. Same thing with the other big four.
Now, because of time difference, that England thing, it took place on Monday. Did we get the transmission on Sunday, or was it just straight up on? They did it kind of like their evening, and it was like our Monday morning or something like that.
No, that was actually straight up on Monday, and it was actually pre-taped. The SummerSlam pay-per-view was taped in England a couple days prior, but in 1992 there really was no internet, so it wasn't like a spoiler or anything.
Right?
Because they even edited the pay-per-view. A couple matches were taken out, and we never knew.
How
in jolly
dare
old
they?
States.
That is rude. Editing the pay-per-view, taking stuff out. What is this? The WWE? Wait a minute.
Yeah, right.
Well, excellent. Well, we're going to go ahead and jump on in. I guess I could say spoilers ahead if you haven't watched the pay-per-view from Saturday night. Go jump on Peacock. Go watch it. It's only like 5-8 hours of your life. With the pre-show that they did, and then the kickoff match. I think it was because how late did this thing go? It went to like at midnight, did it not?
Yeah, it was past 11:30. I know that. I watched it after the fact. I actually had my phone. When I got done on Sunday, it was like I had like 105 text messages, and I'm like, well, apparently I did something.
I was not one of those people that texted you, so I'm in the clear, so to speak.
Right. Yeah, but I'm excited to talk about it with you for sure. There's some good stuff, definitely, but there's a couple of things that I'm definitely a little bit heated about that I did not think they did very well, and they dropped the ball and even cheated some of the fans, but we'll get there.
Oh, yeah. Well, I know there was a couple tweets from inside the venue was it Allegiant Stadium? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, I believe so. Allegiant or Alliance, something.
Yeah, I'm like, is it Allegra? I can't remember. I think it's Allegiant. But anyways, the brand new stadium for the Las Vegas Raiders, if I'm not mistaken, and this is one of their very first events inside this stadium, brand new. So a lot of stuff was not working. I guess like some of the plumbing issues with the toilets weren't working right. The tap to pay cashless system wasn't working right. And then I think like the Wi-Fi inside the building wasn't working. And then like the lighting to like some of the nosebleed areas, there was like blue lights just flashing into people's faces that they could not actually see part of the matches and everything. So like if you actually go back to it, you may or may not, they probably have edited the chants out, but they were like, turn off the blue lights, turn off the blue lights. So that was one of those things where I thought there was one other thing that wasn't working quite well within the system, but they, like I said, there was some not so nice text going off with the actual event itself. But let's go ahead and start off with the very first match of the actual pay-per-view, and that was my guy. It was you had Omos with AJ Styles, who were your your Raw Tag Team Champions, going up against the newly formed RK Bro, consisting of Riddle as well as Randy Orton. So I know they had their little moments where they were on and off and on and off, type of as a tag team. But they've officially come back. They are now a tag team. And what was your kind of overall thought of this match? Did you think it lived up to the hype of RK Bro? So with that, the match went pretty well. I thought some of the chemistry that Riddle and Randy Orton, being they kind of, they really haven't wrestled together on camera in front of the crowd very many times, and a lot of times they've been kind of in each other's corner, not necessarily much on the actual. Doing a match together. So let's see. How are we doing now? We good?
So the great irony, Lord Cash, is that you were talking about the technical problems at the stadium, and all of a sudden one of us was cutting out like crazy. So there's it's pretty funny. I don't know if you said this, but I did also notice that there was no pyro, no fireworks, and I don't know if it's because there was no stage. They came out through like a small walkway, but that was kind of noticeable actually. And
yeah, that was one of the things that I'm trying to remember.
Reminded me of an old WWF pick the summer.
So I think we're encountering some of those technical issues yet again. How's your connection now, AllThatPat? Are you able to hear me okay? Can I hear you now? Maybe?
Maybe.
I think I just heard myself.
Okay, let's see.
We good?
I don't know. Can you hear me?
I'm able to hear you now.
Okay, good.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
So
all right, let's try. Okay.
You mentioned the pyro. I'll just put in my comments while we're trying to get stuff connected here a little bit for those that are tuning in to watching us. They were not allowed to use pyro. Was one of the things that I read because I don't know if they didn't have the safety measures built in to handle pyro, or the ventilation wasn't properly done. I'm guessing and making up excuses for them to why they weren't able to do that. So yeah, that's one of the things that they were able to do. So, but as we're talking about the first match of RK Bro going up against, I kind of wish they almost had a name. I wish that Randy Orton, they do have a name, but more or less talking about Omos and AJ Styles. I wish they kind of had a name together. I almost want to say, big and little guy, because their size and difference and everything going on. So that's kind of like how the first match came to be. And with that, like I said, their chemistry was kind of working things out and everything. So it was kind of nice to see how some of that actually came together. How they kind of it was pretty good. I liked it. I've been a fan of RK Bro since the beginning of the induction of the match. So it was pretty cool. I liked it. Let's see.
It was like a typical Raw match. I mean, it didn't have anything like special that screamed SummerSlam to me. But as an you didn't need that. I thought that it just hit the mark, and like you said, like for like longtime RK Bro fans, it did what it needed to do. And I did like how I think it was Greg Hamilton was the announcer. He actually announced them as RK Bro officially, which I believe was the first time that they did that. So yeah, definitely accomplished what they needed to accomplish.
Right. And then, of course, with that, we did see RK Bro win the Raw Tag Team titles. They are now Tag Team Champions. So that was kind of cool that their first match, kind of officially after coming back, they had their little trial period, but they went out there and beat the current tag champions. So they are now Raw Tag Team Champions. So I'm happy. Like I said, I have been a fan of RK Bro, so it's I'm good. I'm happy with that. All righty. So
and Randy got a beautiful night.
Say that one more time.
Did you hear me or not? I said Randy got a wonderful scooter the next night on Raw.
Exactly. Of course, he used it to beat up Omos, but hey, what I guess what's for. All righty. Well, let's go ahead and jump on into our next match. And that was Alexa Bliss going up against Eva Marie with Doudrop possibly in the corner, which I'm trying to remember. Was she actually out there?
Yeah, because she took she took Eva Marie's like bathrobe at the end of the match.
That's right. Yeah, that was kind of where we saw the demise of what was actually transpiring to take place the next night on Raw.
I have to say, there's a problem. The match had more time than the SmackDown Women's Championship match, which we will talk about. But
sure.
This match was pretty awful.
Yeah, well, and that's one thing I was going to mention is like, okay, you've got Eva Marie, who's not. I don't want to say it's not talented, but I don't know. Like, I don't know her level. Her level of skill is. I'm sure she's there because she's a pretty face. She has a lot of that social media possibly influence and everything. And then on top of that, you've got Alexa Bliss, who really hasn't been in the ring all that much this year, last year, due to some of the roles that she's been kind of overtaking. Lately, she has been getting into the ring more. Do you think that some of it was a little bit of ring rust on her part?
I don't think so. Because like she has had a couple legitimate matches lately over the last month and a half. I think the problem is that Eva Marie is not good enough in the ring. She was trained by Brian Kendrick, but it's just one of those things where Eva Marie is not strong enough as a wrestler to carry the character of Alexa Bliss in a match.
Right.
And it just wasn't well done. Thankfully it was short, and I guess it accomplished its purpose, but I don't know. It was a complete dud for me. Again, every card ends up having a dud or a throwaway, and this one was definitely one of those for me. It accomplished nothing, and as you saw the next night on Raw, basically Alexa Bliss is now apparently going for the Raw Women's Championship. But overall, I could forget about this one, pretty easily.
Yeah. With that being said, Alexa Bliss did win over Eva Marie, which caused Doudrop to grab the mic and instead of saying, and the winner is that actually this is one of the first times she's been announced as the loser, basically saying, and the loser of the match is Eva Marie. and then of course took her robe and proceeded to walk out of the arena, which of course caused a little bit of scuttle on Monday Night Raw. So there's definitely going to be some now friction building up between the two of them.
Right.
So, all righty. Let's see. Our next match that we're going to be talking about was for a title. They had a couple of titles being defended on the pay-per-view. And the first one that we're going to be covering is going to be Sheamus going up against DP, Damian Priest, for the United States Championship. Before going into this, I know we didn't talk about much of our predictions, but who did you have going into this match, and were you right?
Oh, 100%. Sheamus has had the belt for the better part of 5 months, winning it at WrestleMania, and they've been building Damian Priest for the better part of a year. This was his time. I predicted him to pull it out and walk away as a first-time champion on the main roster, North American champion on NXT, but that's beside this point. I predicted it, and I think that sometimes predictions can be obvious, and that's okay. It tells the story. And yeah, now we have Damian Priest definitely in the title picture as a champion, and now we got a new name on Raw.
What do you mean a new name on Raw?
A new name in like the title scene, like I
Gotcha. I was like, he's been on Raw for a while.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So yeah, Damian Priest did pull out the win, beating Sheamus for the title. I don't know if this is going to give Sheamus some time to step away and let his face heal up properly. If they're going to utilize that, or if they're just going to kind of milk that injury for a little bit, like they've done with certain other people with wearing a cast or whatnot. That's always been part of storyline. So who knows what they're going to do with him? But yes, definitely Damian Priest is now part of the title contendership, where if he were to go for the Universal or the WWE title, he at least can say, well, I've at least held the secondary championship of this brand that I should be taken a little bit more serious. Kind of like in the way that Big E has held the Intercontinental Champion. That at some point, I imagine both Damian Priest and Big E are going to be going for those main titles at some point in their career coming up. So definitely paves the way for them to do so.
I wouldn't be surprised, quite honestly, Lord Cash, if they actually do a champion versus champion match, actually with with Lashley going against Damian Priest at the upcoming pay-per-view, because they did have a tag team match on Raw. And I don't know. I get the vibe they might just push him to the next level, not have him beat him, but have a match with Lashley.
Yeah, well, Extreme Rules is coming up next, so don't know if it would be that one, if they're going to let it build up to the one after that. And I know usually they like say for like the Night of Champions, where you've got SmackDown champs go up against your Raw champs. So who knows exactly how that's going to build up. And then, of course, with Survivor Series, if they're going to go the SmackDown versus Raw, who knows? There's definitely some build up for it. I'm excited to see some of these up and comers get their chance in the spotlight.
Right.
All righty. Our next match that we're going to be talking about was for another set of titles. This one was for the SmackDown tag team champions, the Usos, going up against the Mysterios, Dominic and Rey. And going into this, Rey Mysterio and Dominic have kind of been at odds, not seeing eye to eye. Kind of Dominic not listening to his dad and everything. I know building up to when they won the titles, they were on fire. They were in sync with each other, and they've kind of slipped away from that. And do we still see some of that not on the same page during this tag?
Yeah, no, definitely. They weren't really on the same page. They had, like you mentioned, a little bit of a seeds being planted. The match itself was not as good as some of their others. I mean, it was fine, but the Usos retained the belt. The belt's keeping the family strong, so to speak, at least for the Usos family.
Yep.
Going down the line, we might see something like really explode the Mysterios, or it might just be like a real small possible, but they kind of get back together. But ultimately, the match really didn't do anything. That more has developed outside of SummerSlam than what happened on Saturday night, but it was there. The fans, I'm sure, enjoyed it at the arena. But yeah, Usos retained. Nothing super exciting coming out of it, in my opinion.
Right. Yeah, it was we've seen these type of matches back and forth on either Raw or SmackDown, and this is definitely one that I feel has been they've played this card in some capacity, whether it's one member of one team going up against another member of another, and kind of switching it out from Friday to this one to that one. So they're still at least keeping them within that wrestling bubble, so to speak. And it just really didn't. It just wasn't spectacular like we would hope. Do you just kind of a little prediction type of thing? Do you see Dominic going up against Rey Mysterio in a feud in the future, or do you think they're not even going to go down that route?
I do think it's going to be a teaser. I think if anything, they may have a father-son match, but it's more like a respect thing where Dominic just tries to prove himself. I don't think he's going to go full heel and like attack his dad. I think it's just going to be one of those things where he asks his father, like, "I want a match with you. Let me prove it to you that I'm good enough." And I think Rey is going to continue to duck it for a while, and then when they ultimately do fight, Rey will lose, and that will set up him giving the mask to Dominic. I've been calling that since last Royal Rumble, but I do think they're going in that direction. I just hope that Dominic doesn't turn heel. I think that would be a poor decision. But again, maybe it'll work out better. I don't know.
Well, to be fair, Eddie Guerrero is his poppy, so it would be in character.
I have to watch. Speaking of that, they did a thing on WWE.com. I
Uh-huh.
haven't. Where they watched the match, the ladder match.
Okay.
Basically, Dominic and Rey, that they have a thing with they actually watched the custody ladder match between Rey Mysterio and Eddie from SummerSlam 2005.
Oh, wow.
And, yeah, I've been wanting to watch that because that was the match where they were fighting over Dominic. So I think it'd be kind of funny to get some of that insight.
Right, yeah, because I think I've seen like the advertisement for that, whether it was like on YouTube or on the W Network, Peacock, whatever. I think I saw something of that caliber. I just didn't realize it was that specific match. So yeah, I might actually have to invest a little bit of 30 minutes just to kind of sit down and watch that little quote unquote special.
Yeah, exactly. Me too. Now I'm not sure, but we got to be coming pretty close to the what match is next on the card? Because I'm getting fired up over here because I know it's coming. I know that
Well,
my least favorite night's coming.
well, I was going to use the transition of speaking of special. Our next match is oh boy special, and that is that
Oh my God!
Bianca Belair going up against Sasha Banks for the SmackDown Women's title.
I'm
Go.
so glad my camera's not working tonight because the looks on my face would probably break the internet. I match. So to start with, I mentioned this to you, but this was my main event. This was the match I wanted to watch at WrestleMania. This was the match I most looked forward to last night or Saturday night as well. I'm a big Sasha Banks fan. I always have been. This is a match I was looking forward to. She's going to win the belt back. Pumped. WWE has been pushing it for a while. You and I covered last week on the show that there were rumors that she may be sick and may be out.
Yeah.
We talked a little about maybe COVID, whatever it might be, but the internet kind of knew that something was up. The WWE held that news close to their chest, and they refused to acknowledge it. They had people come into the arena. They sold out an arena based on this match and a few others. They even advertised and showed the video package again right before Bianca comes out. That's dirty. That's just like it's not right. It really isn't financially. It's not a good business decision. Because you are literally misleading the fans.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was
going
to say,
it was bad.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you're fine.
Well, I was going to say, I know we had talked on Tuesday last week about, is this match going to happen? And we're like, well, we're going to see what happens on Friday. And I know Sasha wasn't on SmackDown, but you had Bianca. They were still advertising it. And I was like, okay, this thing is still going to happen. I'm like, I kind of had the feeling that she was just out, some technical stuff on her part. I'm like, okay, but Bianca's there, and like everybody that we mentioned, you had Selena Vega was on screen, you had Carmella, and then you had Sonya Deville. All of those people were there on screen, on camera for everyone to see. The only one that we did not see was Sasha Banks. So I just kind of felt they were just kind of saving her for the actual pay-per-view.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I don't think that's like totally crazy to think of that. But then of course, they made the announcement, like I said, after they did the package for it on Saturday night, that she was not even going to be there, that she was not able, that she was not going to be doing the match.
Right. And the next part was a swerve. They did that intentionally. I think that was well done, but they announced Carmella as the replacement. I mean, the Boo Birds were definitely out with that one. I was like, how shallow is this roster that Carmella gets the title shot every other week? But of course, again, they're just setting that up for the surprise return of the man, Becky Lynch.
Right.
Cool. I mean, I've been waiting for it for a while. She's been gone since last May.
Yeah.
She was pregnant. But then they decide, because apparently they have the ability to, which is common in wrestling for some stupid reason, they decide that they're going to have an impromptu title match. They nod at each other, they nod at the ref, and there you go. Bianca Belair is done dirty, and this woman who has been dominant for 8 months, won the Royal Rumble, beat Sasha Banks in a main event match, went over 30 minutes, has carried that title for all these months, beat everybody, supposedly falls victim to a weak right hand and a rock bottom, and she just gets pinned. She doesn't even do like the fake kicking of the legs. No, apparently that rock bottom just knocked her ass out. I don't get it. That was such terrible booking. Oh man, I couldn't have been hotter. I was so mad.
Yeah. So that being said, the man Becky Lynch is now the SmackDown Women's Champion after making her their return to the ring here at SummerSlam. So yeah, it was one of those. I'm like, really? They just did that? Okay.
And Lord Cash, I do have one more question for you. What brand is Becky Lynch a part of?
Technically, she's Raw. She was Raw when she left.
That's what I thought. I believe she's still on Raw as of the other day on the roster page too on the website. But again, I know this is like scripted television, and it's not. But somebody made the decision to do it that way. I don't know if Becky wasn't ready to get back in the ring yet. They just wanted to make an appearance, but they had to pull the trigger because Sasha didn't show up. I don't know. They could have done this so much better.
Yeah. I don't know, man. We're gonna have to wait till for Friday to see. Because I'm sure that's going to be. Yeah, I'm not sure if Becky Lynch is going to kick off SmackDown or if Roman Reigns is going to kick off SmackDown based on the events of the main event. So we'll talk about that in just a moment. All right. Our next match that we're going to be talking about was definitely kind of a heated rivalry that's kind of been built up for just a little bit. And that's going to be Drew McIntyre going up against. Going up again. Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry. I forgot. Yeah, this was back to back, just groans. I'm sorry to cut you off. Really, this was a Monday Night Raw match. It went 3 minutes. We've been waiting for Jinder to get back in the ring because they've been dragging this thing out with Drew McIntyre for the better part of a month and a half, and Drew just mops the floor with him.
Yeah.
Anything that Jinder did was like basically barely acknowledged, and Drew just beat him clean. It's like, what was the point of all this?
Well, and I don't know if the fact that because the fact that the two goons were banned from the ring per se, that now he was able to cleanly beat Jinder Mahal. So that way, kind of, I don't know. I just that's the only thing I can think of is because Jinder usually cheats and has the goons with him trying to do something, distraction or whatnot. That Drew McIntyre, without the goons, he can beat him.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. It's like basic storytelling as far as that goes. I guess I just was surprised that there was never a point in this match that Jinder looked credible. And I'll be honest with you, I thought that I missed something when I was watching it. So I went back and rewound the match. Like, I thought I missed something big on it. And I'm like, no, it just went right to the finish. Like, it was literally a match that you would see on Monday Night Raw because of the time frame of it. And again, we already talked about how the match SummerSlam itself went very late, but for crying out loud, I mean, I don't know. The finish was not surprising. I think we both would have said Drew was going to win, correct?
Yeah, I would have put money on that one since they were in Vegas.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. I was surprised. I mean, again, I didn't expect a main event level match for I think that, but it didn't accomplish much in my opinion. I feel like I'm being very negative right now, but I did overall enjoy the pay-per-view. But this was just back-to-back crap.
Right.
2 matches again. IMO.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of like that last taste in your mouth. That's how your overall experience is going to be. Your appetizer and your salad may not be so good, but your main courses were halfway decent. Your dessert was good. Your overall, you're going to say that dinner was all right.
I will say that dinner was all right, but there was one part of my dinner I didn't enjoy either.
Well, that's okay. You will send it back to the chef and complain about that. Maybe you'll get that off of your bill at the end of the night. And of course, talking about how long this match was, this was a 10-course meal, being that there was actual 10 matches, which I don't know if I've ever seen that many matches outside of like a WrestleMania.
Well, they're saying that this is the party of the summer. They were trying to make this like a WrestleMania caliber night. And again, I think it was. I mean, because even WrestleMania cards, there's always a couple shorter ones that don't really do much.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, again, it was an overall, like you said, just a lot of matches in there and a lot of things they accomplished. So, but yeah, well, let's continue to talk about some of the other ones for sure and see how the rest of the night continued.
Well, our next match is going to be the other side of the women's division. This was the triple threat match with Charlotte Flair, almost a superhero Nikki Ash, and then, of course, Rhea Ripley going for the Raw Women's Champion. Who did you have your money on before the match started, and how much were you disappointed?
Well, you're talking about 10-course meals. This was definitely the leftovers. They repeat the next day. WWE has been trouncing and parading these three out for the better part of 2 months with the same matches. I'm not gonna lie, I fast forwarded through this match. I've seen it. I've seen it many times before. You mentioned who did I pick? I did pick Charlotte. I was hoping that it would be Nikki Ash. Charlotte made her tap because that's what good heels do. Is they cut the legs out of a new up and coming babyface champion. They just make them tap because that makes sense for business. We have
Right.
another reign for the heel champion Charlotte Flair because she needs that. I You can't tell by looking on my face. I am sarcastic right now. I was not pleased with this match. From what I did watch of it, because I was stopping it. I mean, I didn't skip it completely. They did well. It was well done, but it's just Charlotte is booked like a face. Like leading up to any match, she's booked like a heel, but when the match starts, she is booked like a face, and it drives me crazy.
Yeah.
And the fans are confused, but they respect her because they cheer her throughout the entire match. It's just she even does like the babyface fire. I don't get it with her. I'm not saying she's not good because she is clearly excellent. It's just it bugs me. It really does because it just makes me frustrated to see her ever in a match. Well, here she is, the champion again. I'm sure she's going to fight Rhea Ripley next month. We'll see what happens. Because I know it's Alexa Bliss, but Rhea Ripley's got to get involved in sure.
I'm sure. Yeah, I think you mentioned that they were cheering for her. I just think it was kind of we I don't know if they like Rhea Ripley. And I don't think they are on board with Nikki Cross's, superhero Nikki Ash persona that she's doing right now. I believe that is a big, heavy push by Vince McMahon for that character. So I don't know if it's one of those that like, we don't like you, so we're going to go ahead and vote. We're going to cheer for Charlotte Flair. I don't know if that's the
you
Go ahead.
You caught a little bit on my end, so you maybe 100% just copying what you said. The babyface champion comes out first. That's first of all, no, the champion's supposed to come out last. Okay. Also, Charlotte, who is the heel, she came out last and actually had a superstar entrance. Like, that makes no sense. I don't know. They haven't been booking Nikki correctly. Even when she was coming up the ladder, so to speak, like she was winning matches because she didn't lose, not because she won, but because she didn't lose. She was like outlast. She's like surviving for a minute. Like, oh, next week you could survive for 2 minutes. That goes back a couple months, but they have not booked Nikki Ash well at all. She won the belt by pinning Charlotte after she got beat up. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I do want to see Nikki's character do well. I do think that she can be booked as a good champion. They're just not doing it. So
yeah, it's so dumb. I don't know. I'm just, God. That's why I want to do the show tonight, though. I was so fired up. AEW hit it out of the park last week, and I was hoping WWE would do well. No, they just, I don't know.
Yeah, and I'm wondering how much of their stuff did they change anything because of what AEW did last Wednesday / Friday, that they needed to do something.
No, because I feel that all these finishes, I don't think that anything was changed. The Becky Lynch thing, I don't think she was going to win the belt on Saturday originally, but she was definitely going to come out and probably, confront one of the champions.
Right.
I think they just kind of shoehorned her into that SmackDown one because of it. I mean, hell, I wouldn't be surprised if she was originally supposed to confront Charlotte at the end of the Raw match.
Right.
But they needed somebody to plug in there,
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. Obnoxious. Like even the good wasn't good, but I think next was it the Goldberg match?
Well, our next match is technically Edge versus Seth Rollins.
Oh yeah, that was an excellent match. I loved how Edge kind of on Friday he went with a little bit of a throwback to the Brood, and then he did that again on Sunday. Had a little bit of a remix of the theme songs. Great match for sure. A lot of fire. These guys could go. No surprises. Um, I don't know if so. You asked this question a couple minutes ago about predictions. I personally did not pick Edge to win. I thought that Seth Rollins was going to beat him and then give him some time off. I figured that he would actually, quote, injure him with a curb stomp and win the match. But did you pick Edge? I mean, Edge is your boy.
I would have gone with Edge. That's who I was not necessarily rooting for, but that's who I would have put my money on. Just because, again, I'm an Edge head. I would have the way they've been building him up, especially with the events of Friday night, doing the whole Brood, getting the Brood bath on Seth Rollins, which I think is the first time Seth Rollins has worn a solid color or a non-color suit that hasn't been that flamboyant, drip drip suit. It was just a solid white suit, and you kind of almost knew foreshadowing that something was going to happen because, again, he's always been wearing like a bright green with palm tree prints on it or whatever.
Yeah.
This and that. That this was just a solid white suit, which again was set up the whole Brood bath to get just drenched.
Yeah, no, exactly. You could see it a mile away coming. Sure.
Yeah. But yeah, no, the match was
right. But
sorry, what was that?
oh no, I say that I thought it was well built. I liked how at the end Edge could not get him to win. He couldn't get him to give up. They were going back and forth, and then the whole idea of Edge having to go to that dark place, as he was alluding to, he just took Seth's head and just started bashing it into the ground, and then finally put him in, a crossface, and he made him tap out.
Yeah.
I just like the way the match made sense.
Yeah.
And that's what we don't always get in wrestling. So that's why I did like that match. It's probably what might have been the match of the night for me, honestly.
Yeah, definitely. With Edge defeating Seth Rollins, it made me happy. I'm curious to see what possibly is going to happen next with Edge. If he's going to try to go again for the title, or if he's just going to take time off. I'm curious to see how that's going to play out.
Yeah, me too.
All righty. Well, our next match that we're going to be talking about, you just kind of alluded to it just a moment ago, and that is the Bobby Lashley going up against Goldberg for the WWE title. This one, I think I'll say this was like a one of two desserts that was definitely a little tart for my liking.
I would say the bread was stale.
There you go. I think you had something different than I did, but definitely same kitchen didn't make it right. The whole issue with Goldberg getting injured with it.
Oh my God!
I'm just like, really? This is what we're gonna go with?
I think that Goldberg just now registered the chair shot. It was like they even showed it on the replay. Bobby or MVP hits Goldberg in the back with a chair and his leg, and then he reacts. I'm like, holy crap! Way to make that look fake. Like,
right.
It was a bad match. Lashley should have just like put him in the Hurt Lock and just made him tap in like a minute.
And I think that would have been a better match.
Of course it would have. Like, it just Goldberg doesn't need to be protected. He needs to be putting people over. And he had been completely fair. He put over Braun Strowman and he put over Drew McIntyre. It was just stupid. Did you notice the crowd as soon as Goldberg set up for the spear? They were booing and waving him off like, no, please do not let this happen. And then when Lashley ducked to the outside, the place went crazy.
Wow. I don't think I noticed that. I think to be honest with you, I think I fell asleep during that match.
I don't blame you at all. Bitterritz is laughing off to the side.
Well, again, at this point, it was after 11 o'clock. It just was running late, and I needed my beauty sleep, man.
Oh, so are we going to get a rematch between these two?
Are you asking if? I'm sorry. Are you asking if there's going to be a rematch between these two?
Have that match in Saudi Arabia.
That.
Say it again.
I was. You were breaking up, so I was seeing if I understood you about the if there's going to be a rematch between Goldberg and Lashley. Is that the question you were asking?
Yeah, I assume they're going to have a rematch in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, I would not be surprised because again, I think Goldberg does well over in that country. That that Vince McMahon's going to want to build that up accordingly. I don't want to see him win the title.
No, I don't either. The only way that I would be somewhat okay is if like Lashley kicks his butt afterwards, and Big E cashes in. That's the only.
I was just going to say. Yeah, I was just going to say that the only way that works is if Big E cashes in right afterwards.
Yeah, but no, I fear that might happen with the rematch. But yeah, terrible match. I mean, they did the best they could with it. To be fair, it's just I don't know. I didn't want to see it. I saw it. I wish I hadn't, but I did. We both survived Lord Cash, and now we have the actual main event of the evening. We had John Cena going for win number 17 against Roman Reigns. It was a good match. The problem is that for a match that I was actually going to pick Cena to win. I talked about that last week too with you about that he was going to break Flair's record almost out of spite. The company, probably not very happy with the Nature Boy at the moment. But like they telegraphed that wasn't going to happen. First, Roman Reigns at SmackDown says that he was going to retire if he lost. Well, okay, that's not happening. And then Cena comes out with new merch. Did you see the new merchandise?
The with the NFT stuff?
No. So he has a T-shirt, and it says 16. It says Cena 16 on it. It looks like a cool shirt, but they didn't make a shirt for one night.
Right. Yeah, it had all of his dates that he won all his previous titles on the back of his shirt. I did see that one.
Right. Yeah, so I'm like, okay. All right, well, I already know where this one's going. Again, good match. As there's a lot of things I could say. But you said it was an okay match. I mean, they definitely pulled out all the stops. I would have enjoyed it a heck of a lot more had there not been so many glaring spotlights on the finish. I mean, unfortunately for me, it was just too obvious by that point. What were your thoughts?
Well, you mentioned about the Flair spite. I kind of had another premonition that it wasn't going to happen because WWE is one of those people where they're not just going to punish the person involved; they're going to punish like everybody that they can. And the fact that Charlotte won the Raw Women's Championship, I felt if anything, like if they were going to punish Flair, then Charlotte would have gotten punished as well, because again, she was down with her father, with boyfriend down there. So I do feel that because she won, that they were not going to let Cena win to tarnish his record just yet.
No, you're right. That's a good point. Because yeah, exactly. That does make sense too. Did you? So ultimately, we know that Roman Reigns does win. Did you see Lesnar coming? Because that one surprised me.
Yeah, no, I did not see after Roman Reigns had defeated John Cena. I did not see the fact that Brock Lesnar was going to. I know there was like rumblings here and there, but nothing that made me think about it. And a lot of times, the crowd is more aware than WWE realizes. And I don't recall seeing any Brock Lesnar signs beforehand to kind of foreshadow it. So yeah, when his music hit, it was a big pop.
Yeah, and you had asked earlier, Lord Cash, about did any of the booking or did anything WWE do? Was it in a response to how AEW was last week? That's the thing. That the Brock Lesnar pull, I don't think that was in the plans.
Yeah.
It just didn't feel like it. It didn't feel like anything was building up to that. Lesnar looked totally different, which that could happen, right? It just it didn't seem like to me. I don't think they had that plan. I don't think that Lesnar was planned to be the next opponent. I just don't. It will be interesting to see how Lesnar goes back and being the face role.
Yeah.
But in a lot of matches, Lesnar comes in as looking like the face sometimes because he's just got that aura and almost that cool factor. So I don't know how different it really will be, other than maybe in the storyline leading up to the match. I'm pretty intrigued to see how they use Paul Heyman, who's been the advocate for the Beast for the better part of his career.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just hope to God he doesn't win the belt. He does not need to win that belt again.
Right. Yeah. It reminded me of a pallbearer with Kane and Undertaker type of scenario.
Yeah,
and
see that.
I don't know if I'm one of those things where I try to read lips, especially when you're not supposed to, specifically when they go, and they say certain words that aren't supposed to be viewed on TV. And so he almost unloads a brick in his pants when Brock Lesnar's music hits. So that was entertaining to say the least.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, it was very. They sold it very well. They did a good job with it, and we'll see what happens on SmackDown as far as like you mentioned earlier, who's going to start the show. I'm thinking it's Lesnar. I think Lesnar's just going to come out. But yeah, we'll have to see. It was an eventful SummerSlam. As far as some takeaways, I still think AEW won the week. I mean, between Chris Jericho losing clean to MJF and having the whole crowd sing his theme song to him, plus what the world is talking about with CM Punk making his return after 7 years. AEW is just like I said, that was the brand to beat this week. But SummerSlam was okay. I'm not going to ever watch it again. Sometimes there's like a watch it. there was nothing I want to watch again. Even the Edge Seth Rollins match, it was good, but I don't ever need to see it again.
Yeah, I can understand that. I'm curious with if things evolve in a nice, creative way, if we will ever look back to this SummerSlam and go, oh my gosh, this is when they did this to set up that. I'm curious.
I don't know. When I was talking to my friend John, who's been on the show a couple times, he had a prediction that I think would have been great, and I alluded to it tonight a little bit. But after the Goldberg match, he said, "I'm going to kill you." If Raw started with Lashley celebrating and Goldberg took him out on Monday as a revenge, and then Big E cashed in right then and there, 100%.
Right.
I would be like, you know what? The lab just did a random tag match with Goldberg nowhere to be found. Starting something big right now with Bianca, perhaps. But yeah, I don't anticipate back at this one too fondly, but maybe we will.
Yeah. Well, the one thing that is fun that you can look back on is all of our videos that we have stored over on YouTube that you can go watch. We've got almost 250 videos that we have curated over almost a year now. That all that Pat might, at least while I've joined the team of the New York Nerd Show. So we've got Wednesdays is the game room. Thursday, I stream, you stream, where we talk about, what's on the streaming services. I think I might be doing another upcoming month review for September this Thursday. Friday, we got Funko Royalty. Show off some of my Funko collection. Saturday, Mail Call Mail Time, where we open up what we've gotten in the mail. Sunday, Call of the Wild, where we're going to open up things that we've gotten while going out shopping. Monday, Crazy Card Collecting, where we're going to open up those trading cards that we've collected, whether at it's a convention, a shop, the grocery store, who knows? We find stuff. And, of course, that brings you back to Tuesday night Slam Nation Wrestling, where we give you a what's what of going on in the world of professional wrestling. So definitely check us out over on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. Subscribe to each of those channels, and that way, whenever we do go live, for whatever reason, you'll be notified. Make sure you turn on those notifications so that way you do get those. And of course, tell your family and friends about us. Spread the word of the nerd, as we like to say here. And of course, we've got, if you're hankering for another episode of something, we've got almost 250 videos over on YouTube. Go check them out. There's some cool stuff over there. I recently just did a trailer reaction to the new He-Man of the Match of the Universe trailer that's going to be on Netflix next month, as well as the new Eternals trailer, the final one that's going to be dropping in November in the theaters, the new Marvel film. So definitely go check those out. They're doing really good as far as views. And like I said, leave some comments. Let us know what you're thinking about us. If you like what you see, tell us. If you don't, tell us. We might be able to revise some stuff. So, but all that, Pat, I think it's time for us to ease on down the road. A little more in your case than mine, because you are driving down the road. So anything you would like to share with us before we peace on out for the night?
I think it's something clever to say, but I've got nothing other than thank you for joining us, everybody, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye, adios.